One, two, one, two. All right, let's roll.
Welcome. You're listening to the Saddle Up Podcast,
where we discuss everything related to UTRGV athletics, past or present. We'll catch up with old teammates, friends, and take you down memory lane
with exclusive interviews.
This is the Saddle Up Podcast,
the voice of your covered walkway streets. So dope.
This is gonna be awesome.
Stay tuned for new episodes every week.
From Bronx Village to the Fieldhouse,
we'll cover it all.
Hell yeah, dude. Carpe diem.
So saddle up and let's go.
Let's go. Saddle up, partner.
Hey guys, welcome to Saddle Up Podcast. We know where you're at and we know why you're here. So, G, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, what's going on, Matty P? I'm just chilling, man. We're just here. We're having a good time. This is another Friday episode, and I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. And you know, since you've got the Padres uniform on, which is not directly correlated yet, maybe there is a connection. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe
there is. But I'd like you to introduce, man, our main man today.
Yeah. So it's baseball season. Spring training started. And then we have the great honor of having Fred Villarreal, a Brownsville native and a major league or professional baseball player, right? Spent time in the majors. He's playing pro ball now. He's joining us from sunny Brownsville in between trainings. So, Fred, welcome to the show, my man. Thank you for joining and being with us. We're
Blessing us. And Fred,
of course.
Yeah, Fred, before we get going, man, the reason why I wanted Matt to introduce you is I wanted to see how he would pronounce your last name.
I know it's pretty tough to say.
Do you agree? Do you agree with the way he pronounced it?
That's fine. I mean, I've played in a lot of places, and I take it he's white, so I mean that's okay. That's all right. I mean, again, I've played in all kinds of places. It gets chopped up, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's accurate. It's good.
Not too bad.
I mean, I'm not as accurate, let's say, as the Tijuana Toros, right? Would pronounce it, right?
100%.
You know, I just, hey, next time you come to San Diego, my man, I got you. We'll do dinner and we'll hang out. So,
it was pretty good, man. Villarreal is pretty close, man. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
But Fred, so Fred, tell us, man, I know that, there's a lot that's going on with you right now, and you've recently signed a contract from what we read on your social media and where you're going. We're going to get to all that, but we want to kind of hear your story. Your journey and being a Brownsville native, man, so many aspiring kids here playing basketball, football, baseball. I've heard, baseball is pretty big down here. And I know, you growing up in Brownsville. Tell us about how it was growing up in Brownsville. Yeah. And what it was like being, a part of that baseball world growing up here.
Yeah, of course. Well, I grew up and my dad was a hooper, so he played at Porter High School, he was trying to put me in T-ball, and every T-ball had said no, and so I guess I got some type of anger issue from it got passed down to me, I guess. I'm not an angry man, but he's kind of very serious. So he took matters upon himself, and he would practice me with what he knew. Y'all know that there wasn't any YouTube back then, or there wasn't anything there wasn't any cell phones yet. And we'd practice in the yard, and it was very intense because it was every day. Even if it was a holiday, I clearly remember just training all the time, running a lot. But I'll tell you what, though, I wasn't very good until I was about 12 to 14. And this game is just all about being consistent. It's not really about you'll have a rough practice here and there, and that's why the game's so hard, but it all adds up. And I guess in my case, it added up to the point where I remember this because it's kind of my why, what drives me. At the age of 12, we were playing in this travel tournament in Houston, and Well, I didn't play at all. The coach wouldn't play me. He didn't play me the entire tournament. I don't know
Wow.
why. And and as we know, in this game, it could get very expensive as far as hotels and just, you know, all the
Yeah.
investments a lot of parents do with their kids for in any sport in these tournaments, you know, it could get pricey. And so on the way back, I saw that my mom was crying. And well, as a curious kid, I asked my dad, I'm like, why is mom crying? And they're like, oh, because you didn't play at all. And so I was like, whoa.
Okay.
And so, but why that meant so much. And he was just straight up and honest. My dad told me that, well, she had to pawn her wedding ring in order for me to play in that tournament and to, yeah, to handle the expenses of the hotels and all that type of stuff. So that at the age of 12 was really when I was like,
Wow.
whoa, it really opened up my eyes. And I was like, you know what? Um, it came to that point where my parents like wouldn't have to force me to practice anymore. I just wanted to be better than everybody.
Yeah.
And so um, that's my why still right now. And at the age of 14 was when I was already playing with kind of advanced teams. And then so in eighth grade, because I'm kind of like well, I grew up close to the airport, so I was zoned to Rivera High School. And
Go
so
Raiders.
yes, and I was zoned there. And my junior high was Garcia, which is pretty close to Rivera. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was at an open gym my eighth grade summer at Rivera, and then I just saw like a group of coaches approaching me. And I'm not saying any names because I'm sure it's illegal, but it was a long time ago. So
You don't want to implicate them. Yeah. Don't want you want
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want
yeah,
Don't
to
I'm not
implicate.
implicate
saying
families or kids.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying any names, but let's just say these coaches were transferring to a school named Veterans. And
Yes. Okay. Got
they
it.
were
Got it.
like they were like, hey, because I knew his son. He was like, hey, so and so wants to play Xbox at the house. Do you want to come? I'm like, sure, let's go. And so I hop in the car, we take a little drive, and upon arrival to this man's house, which I knew his son very well, we play on the same team.
Yeah.
Um, there's a laptop and paperwork everywhere. And well, his son wasn't even there, so I was like, all right, what's going on? What's
Oh
going
shit.
on
Brownsville way,
here?
baby.
And
Hey,
so,
did they pick
and
you up? Did
he
they
and
transport you in a white van with no windows? Because if they did that, then you just
it
got to
was
blink
actually a black
twice if
van.
you're okay. You know.
That's hilarious. But no, so it was actually a black van, not saying the model, but so brought me over. And he was like, look, son, like this might change your life. And I was like, all right. So I got back home that day and I had to explain to my parents, like, hey, so I signed up for this high school. And my parents got so upset. And because it was like half an hour away.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that happened. And then from there, you know, had to sit out my freshman year because it was a transfer rule.
Yeah.
Every team, every school in Brownsville voted no for me to play on varsity my freshman year,
Yep.
except Rivera. So after I said no, I walked over to Rivera and I told the coach there, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna transfer tomorrow. There's no way I'm not playing this year. And then I just come to my senses and I'm like, you know what? I could sit out 1 year. What's that gonna do to me?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I train hard. I asked for a weight set for Christmas because well, I wouldn't say I grew up poor, but let's just say like you're on the drive home from somewhere and your parents are gonna say there's food at the house. You know, like I mean, you know, and
Yeah.
so
That's the valley though, Fred. That's the
yeah,
valley, man.
I know, but
That's
so I
food at
just
the house.
asked, yeah, so I asked for one thing, and that was a weight set. So I legit put a weight set in my room because all of my friends in high school lived about a half an hour away, so I couldn't drive that far.
Yeah.
And I didn't, obviously, when you're a freshman, you can't drive yet. Some
Yeah.
do, but yeah,
Illegally. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I thought I was gonna say
Yeah.
illegally
Yeah.
they can, but
Yeah.
so they put a weight set in my room, and you legit can't walk in the room unless you trip over a weight. So it was, for me, it was just like I would lift a lot of weights, and then by my sophomore year, I was already topping out at 90 miles per hour. So that turned the heads of some scouts my sophomore year when I was finally playing varsity in a preseason tournament. There was a scout from a Houston travel ball team that wasn't very good, but they were like, "Hey, we're willing to house you and play in these tournaments. And there's this one big tournament that's very big, and the tournament's called Perfect Game, and it's one of the well, it is like the top tournaments like in the whole
Yeah.
country, and
I've heard of it.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and so I went with them, and we played in that big tournament, and then that big tournament we played against a team that, well, in the future, I'll talk about it, but I played against this one team who was ranked like top 10 in the country, and I shut them out for about 4 innings. And the team was called the Houston Banditos, which I
Wow.
after that game, their coach, or as we were playing, the coach of the Banditos was trying to find out who was my dad in the stand so he could have a word with me. And then, sure enough, the next week I'm playing in Atlanta with that team, Houston Banditos, and I was playing with the son of Roger Clemens. I was playing with, yeah,
There you go.
it was surreal. It was absolutely surreal because I remember growing up, my dad was like, "I want you to pitch like Roger Clemens. I want you to pitch like the Rocket." And to see him like on our side, because his son, Cody Clemens, he's now playing with the Phillies. Uh, and just seeing that firsthand, like in front of my eyes, was like, and just like being cool with Cody and just, hanging
Yeah.
around with all these people. But at the time, this was like the summer of my sophomore year. So they
Yeah.
had me stay. They had me stay, and it was a tournament in Atlanta. They had me play with the 18-year-olds, and then I would stay one more week to play with the 16-year-olds. So I was there for 2 weeks, and that's when I played one tournament, and I was pitching like the championships and stuff. And that was when all the scouts, like I had from offers, I had the U in Miami, like Texas State. I
Wow.
only had like a low percentage with like the huge schools like A&M and UT, only because I was a smaller guy. Like they look
Yeah.
for, very like 6'4" type of people. And but one that um one that offered the most money as far as like a scholarship was U of H in Houston. So as a
Great, baby. Go
sophomore,
Cougs.
yeah, go Cougs. And so that summer, my sophomore year, was when I chose to commit to the University of Houston. So,
Wow.
But wait,
yep,
so you committed your sophomore year.
yeah, that
Wow.
that summer, and it all happened so fast because I went from my freshman year not even playing at all in high school
Yeah.
to
Crazy.
my sophomore year. Like I maybe pitched like 5 innings max,
That's crazy.
and yep.
Yes.
So
You went from a black van with no windows to committing to
Committed to U
committing
of H.
to
Yeah.
committing to U of H your sophomore year. And you know what? Whoever that gentleman was that told you in his house and that lied to you about his kid being there to play Xbox, the one thing he didn't lie to you about was that was going to change your life. And it did,
Wow.
and I
100%.
think you you recognizing I can tell there's a lot of maturity in you. Like you're a little bit you seem a lot more mature than a normal, like someone your age, right? You're seasoned. I think you
100%.
realizing that these moments, like the moment your mom was crying on the car ride home, or you recognizing that, hey, I'm going to strategically kind of plan out what I want to do and kind of shape my career. I think that's a testament to you. And I just want to say that
Yeah, brother,
that's pretty awesome.
that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And there's a lot more
Oh,
that,
well, you can come back for sure. This isn't
yeah,
your only
yeah,
episode.
no.
Yeah, for
Oh, of
sure.
course,
You know,
yeah.
but let me ask you
Fred
this.
Villarreal, part 2, baby. That's
Yeah.
right.
So, let me ask you this: when you were playing with these Cody Clemens, and shout out to Rocket because I happen to know Rocket.
He doesn't mean the name drop, Fred.
Yeah,
But
I'm
him
not
and
trying
Rocket
to
are
I'm not
No,
trying to
oh,
name
of
drop, but
course.
I know Rocket also, right? And so when you're around these kids like Cody and I'm assuming there was other great talent on that team, what was your mindset? Because you're this kid from Brownsville who probably was never given a chance. Like, who is this kid? You know, where's Brownsville? You know, I'm sure you got that a lot. What was it like being in that environment where you're around really, really great talent at your age? How did you deal with that? Like, what was that like for you being so young and being kind of thrown into that fire?
100%. So I feel like I would trust my training. Like I remember and think to myself, or anything you do, I feel like if you put in the time and effort and the work, you kind of rely on that and you trust it. And I feel like
Yeah,
if you don't, that's when you get like, what if this, what if that, but there's no what ifs if you actually put in the time, and if you fail, you fail. So I feel like hanging around with those type of people really pushed me to my limit to be like at my fullest potential, because I felt like I was there for a reason. It wasn't
yeah,
like it didn't happen. It didn't happen because I got lucky. I feel like, over time in this sport, you learn that if you fail, you fail. It's a hard game. And I feel like I accepted that at a very young age. And I also accepted that it's not easy. So I feel like, because I train a lot of kids and I tell them the same thing, and it helps them out because it's really easy to get in your own head. Like there's like a certain way of thinking in this game because it's all about how you could adjust. It's not about trying to be perfect, because if you know your adjustments, and you'll see it all the time. It's not like I have a friend who threw like 22 strikes in a row. His name's George Kirby, but that's very unheard of. You're bound to miss, and as long as you know how to adjust, I feel like you'll be in great shape. So I feel like it was just a matter of just putting in the effort and time, and that was about it.
yeah,
Yeah, Fred, it's crazy that you talk about that mental aspect of the game. That's kind of it's so big, right? And in every sport now that mental preparation, that all those mental techniques. What are and I know you train a lot of kids.
Mhm.
What is it like, man, to what techniques do you work on? What are some maybe self-talking techniques? What are things that you do to mentally prepare for
going out on
example,
the
man,
mound.
like
Yeah,
like for a season, for a big game? Because man, when I watch some of these games, Fred, man, all eyes are on that pitcher, right? Like like you are the guy. You're the guy with the ball. You're like the quarterback, man. You're the point guard. Like what do you do to prepare for those moments?
To be quite honest, I feel like once it turns into your job,
Yeah.
um, it takes some type of fun out of it.
Hmm.
But I really have to like transfer that being very serious into, at the end of the day, I'm playing a kid's game, and there's people out there who are unable to play any sport at all.
Yeah.
Maybe were, brought into this world without an arm or leg, or
Yeah.
some type of unfortunate event in their life, and they look up to us. And so once that thought comes in, I'm like, I get grateful. You know what, at the end of the day, I'm here, And if I fail, I fail. So it's a lot of, I would say, gratitude, because I mean, if you don't have that, I feel like, you'll get into your own head a little bit, and
Yeah.
it's just like, and so you have to kind of be like, as soon as I grab that ball, I'm like, wow, I'm here. And so it's just like a lot of that's happening in my head. It's not more like, I'm sweating. I'm just like, oh, like, it's is like a lot of pressure for me. I feel like pressure is what you put upon yourself, and it's just
Yeah.
more, just trying to have fun with it. At the end of the day, I've played, and I think about this a lot because I get a lot of young pitchers I train and are like, what do you do when you get into your own head? I'm like, you take it one pitch at a time and know that you've been playing this game for so long. How are you unable to bounce back after a bad
Mhm.
pitch? How, like, you've been playing this game so long, you've played catch with your dad growing up, you've done that already. So why are you unable, even with a couple bad pitches, to bounce back?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of that
You
happens
gotta
in my head.
forget the last pitch, so you gotta
100%.
have a short-term memory, right? And so,
Unless it was good, unless it was a good pitch,
I
Oh,
right?
mean,
yeah,
Hang on.
true.
yeah,
Yeah, but
so
I'm sorry to cut you off, but what
yeah,
I was
so
gonna say is just, even after, and I'm glad you brought that up, but after a good pitch or a bad pitch, it's very important to feel that and just real quick, just forget. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry I had to cut you off
No,
with
you're
that.
No,
fine. I
no.
mean,
So that's a good
that's what we
perspective.
wanted to know. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
Mhm.
perspective because really, so as a pitcher, it's whether it was good or bad, it's always about the next pitch, right?
yeah.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
man. See, that's why that's why I never pitched, Matt.
So
I just threw a
okay, let
football
me
and
let me
shot a
fast
basketball.
forward. Let's talk about, like, okay, so you commit to U of H, you go to college, you're there for a couple of years, and then what happens? Do you get drafted? Do you leave early? Like, how did you get to become a pro player? We won't talk about your U of H
So
days, but talk to us how you transitioned from college to pro, and what was that like?
so I actually got drafted out of high school my senior year out of the Tampa Bay Rays, and
Okay,
I said no, and I went to college. Obviously, I went to the University of Houston, and then so in college, your draft year is your junior year. So um, you could sign as a senior too, but for some reason they all get a lot less money. Um, Not sure why, but as a junior, that's when I got drafted with the
yeah,
Seattle Mariners, and then that was in 2018. And so I went there. The highest level I went was AAA, and then but what people don't know is that in the minor leagues, once you're professional, that they don't pay well. And a lot of people think, oh, like, well, yeah, you sign for a certain amount when you get drafted, which was a huge payday for me. I mean, I had never seen that much in my account before.
Yeah.
Um, but then after that, everybody is in the minor leagues is in the same salary, which isn't a lot at all.
Yeah.
So what you sign for until you're in the show is, what you get. So, but when I was playing, even when I was in AAA, like it wasn't a lot. But what happened was, I was out playing, and then my mom, was involved in a car accident. They crashed into her, and well, I didn't have any money, so I was like, well, I need a help. So I talked to my agent, and my agent was like, we found you a spot in Tijuana that's offering you triple the money you make. I'm like, I'm out of here. Okay. And boom. So
Yeah.
I asked for my release. I asked for my release with Seattle. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I need money. Unless y'all want, and because what Seattle had said is like, you have to wait a year until we could renew your contract to more money. I'm like, I don't have a year. So I took off, and well, now I'm grateful that, I mean, I could say I live pretty good. So yeah,
it
I'm
looks like it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
I'll
got palm
try.
trees. You got palm trees.
You got the palm trees and the resaca in the background. Like you're living pretty good, my man. So
That's good, man. So
Mhm.
so that's awesome. And I know I talked about the connection between the Padres uniform that Matt's wearing and the Tijuana Toros, man. So Matt
Yeah.
lives in San Diego. What was, and I know you boasted about the weather, Fred. We got pretty good weather down here too, man. Matt is always talking about the weather in San Diego and all that. How is it, just quickly, how was your time with the Tijuana Toros? How did that kind of
It wa it was awesome. I mean, so when I signed with them, it was kind of like in the playoff push, so I was only there for like about a month. But I'll tell you what, yeah, I feel like if you're around an island or some type of body of water, it's always relaxing. I
yeah.
mean, it's always relaxing and well, yeah, it was fun, and honestly, playing out there in Tijuana, like, um, I didn't expect playing out there for there to be as many fans as there is. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
there's playing out there, it's like a party every game. So
Yeah.
like you have to like yell at a teammate who's like right here to your right side because they're very rowdy and
Uh,
loud. So it amps you up. And so
yeah.
yeah, I mean it's fun and the only thing is that it's like night and day crossing. It's just like, they talk a lot that it's bad in Tijuana, but honestly, I didn't have anything. It's because when you're playing in Mexico and people know you're like a pro athlete, the game is huge over there, so they will leave you alone. Like, I mean,
Oh yeah,
I'm
you're
saying,
untouchable, right?
oh,
Yeah.
you're untouchable, and well, the reasons I don't know why. I don't know who's funding, but it has to be people very important.
Yeah. Yeah,
Actually,
no.
the same owner from the Padres is like 80% of the owner from Tijuana. So
Wow. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, it's huge over there. People, I mean.
it
I
is.
didn't hear of it growing up, but I mean, out there, like even at airports and stuff, like they'll stop me for a picture, and it's just like, here too,
Yeah.
but it's just like more over there because it's always on the TV. It's soccer and yeah,
Yeah.
obviously the
It is.
sport. So
Yeah, no, the Toros out here are on TV, so it's a baseball
yeah.
town. It's a
Mhm.
baseball town. So we got about 5 more minutes left. I know G's got some questions. I know you're eating clean. You said that off air. You're eating
Mhm.
clean, but G's going to give you the opportunity
Well,
to
I'm
get you
just
some wing
curious.
bar gift certificates. He's got
No,
some
no, I mean,
questions he really wants to ask.
well, yeah, for sure. We're gonna hook them up with Wing Barn. Wing Barn takes care of us with gift cards to give our guests. Fred, and you're
Awesome.
from here, so it's
Yeah,
perfect, man. You can take the family and all that good
yeah,
stuff, and you can eat the healthy stuff, man. They got a real healthy.
yeah,
Thank you, Wing Barn.
yeah.
But I'm curious, Fred. Other than Wing Barn, right? When you were asking your parents and they said, that's local, you got food at the house.
You got food at the house. Yeah.
You got food at the house, man. Where were you asking to go to? What
Where'd you want to go?
Brownsville do you want to plug a little bit? What's your go-to?
Well, to be quite honest, and I mean, I would say even if like now I could pretty much afford it, it's just like on the way home, there's always like a wing stop there, and
Oh, wow.
so but no, I do very much right now prefer Wing Barn though, and I mean it's changed, yeah. So I'm
Staying
glad you
good.
brought that up, but it was always
Fred's
yeah.
about the sponsorship, man.
Yeah, Bobby,
Oh my
Bobby,
goodness.
Bobby, you need to hook Fred up, Bobby. Come on, I know you're listening, Bobby. Come on.
But yeah, it was like either that or some chicken tenders from somewhere. It was just
Yeah,
like, and I mean, I knew the answer would end up no, but here and there I'd get lucky. But hey, if you shoot a, I mean, how's that saying go? 100% of the shots you don't take or something like
yeah.
that,
You miss, yeah, you
But
miss
You miss, yeah.
100%.
you
You
miss
miss
So
100% of the
100% of
shots.
the shots.
I
Wow,
got
man.
one last question. You said you're training now. Where are you going? I mean, what are you training for? Like, where are you
Yeah.
going? What's your next stop?
So I'm still currently playing in Mexico. I'm playing for the team named Los Pericos de Puebla, and it's a team
Okay.
that won it all last year. So the team is pretty good. Well, yeah, over there in Puebla, played there last year. It's a beautiful city,
Oh,
and
sweet.
it's real nice. I searched up the population, and it's about 6 million. It's a lot of people there,
Oh, wow.
and it's it's really nice. Yeah,
Oh
it's
man.
nice. So I'm extremely excited, and yeah, so like in about a week I leave, and I mean again, like I've been training extremely hard, and I just have always had the mindset if I fail, I fail. And if I failed, I failed trying, you know? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah, yeah,
yep.
absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna throw you a curveball real quick, Fred. No
Oh,
pun
Lord
intended.
Jesus. Here we
Okay.
go.
And G's got his questions. I know that one question he wants to ask. I think it's funny. So G, you need to ask that one. But the question I have for you, Fred, is in your cell phone, who is the most famous person or famous contact you have in your phone right now?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I got plenty.
He said, I got plenty.
I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't say, but to me, I'd say to me, he's famous,
And you
and
can't say, Fred, you can't say me because you have my cell phone. Just
Yeah,
read.
you got G stuff.
Uh,
Don't say G, but
I'm
that's-
thinking, I'm thinking. I mean, I'd say a teammate, right?
yeah.
We met because he was in my draft class. If you search him up, he was our first rounder with Seattle, and well, his name's George Kirby. And
okay.
I mean, to me, he's extremely famous
Yeah.
because I mean, he's a first rounder and he's like a main guy in the rotation with Seattle. So,
Yeah, I've heard of him. If you were to
but
say
if
Ichiro, I would have been blown away. Like if you got Ichiro's number, like that's
we
amazing.
we actually had met though, and he's a extremely humble and nice guy. Like he'll like greet and salute anybody. He's a extremely cool
Nice.
guy. Ichiro.
Cool.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
That
I've
is
heard nothing but good things, but I'm a huge Ichiro fan. All right, G.
No, I
What-
just,
what do you
man,
got?
I was just thinking, I was like, what would I ask a pitcher? And you remember Major League, right, Fred?
Yes.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rick Vaughn. If I were to start a team, would would I pick Rick Vaughn as my player to build around, or would I pick Fred Villarreal? And why?
Why? I would say okay, because I feel like off the field and on the field, people aren't the same.
Yeah.
So as far as hype man and all that type of stuff, I feel like it'd be me because I'm trying to push people. I wouldn't say I'm wild, but like people off the field could be a certain type of person, like super
Yeah,
chill and like real calm. But as soon as they're in that clubhouse with other people, you know, they're cracking jokes. They're just like a whole complete other person. So I'd say me. I'd say me
yeah,
Oh, I
because
love
I
it.
absolutely,
You
man.
mean,
gotta have confidence, man. You gotta have that.
100%.
Hell yeah, dude. Ricky Vaughn ain't got shit on you, man. I'm just
If
telling
you
you.
if you got enough gusto to go on the mound, throw a ball 95 miles an hour inside and not
Oh
hit the
yeah.
guy, but you do it on purpose to get him off the plate, you gotta have confidence.
You gotta have
Man.
some cojones, man.
Yeah, you gotta have some cojones.
100%.
You gotta have some
Hey,
cojones.
So Fred, we're gonna do a little wing barn speed round of questions. They're kind of fun questions. It's called this or that. And while you're answering these, you just kind of answer it, whatever. Just for the audience to kind of get to know you a little bit more, which obviously if they don't know you by now, I mean, I don't know what they're listening to. But you're awesome, man. And it's so glad to have you on the show. But wing barn speed round of questions. I'm just gonna give you two options and just choose one, just for fun. And then while we are doing that, I want you to think about a song that you want us to include in our Saddle Up soundtrack. The song
Yep.
that gets you going, man.
Yep.
Ricky Vaughn had Wild Thing. What does Fred Villarreal have?
Yeah.
What is yeah. So just think about that while you're answering these questions. All right. Wing Barn speed round of questions. Here we go. Rain or sunshine?
Sunshine.
Look
Yeah,
at
man.
his background.
Dude,
Damn.
no,
Come on.
but you never know, man. Some people want the rain, so they can bring the sunshine. Anyway,
I guess, man.
hot
Those
dogs
sad
or
people.
burgers?
I'll go with the burger.
Yes, sir. All right. Coffee or energy drink?
Energy drink.
Oh shit! Damn.
Yes.
We got our first energy drinks, man.
We got our first
Yes.
energy
You are,
drink,
man. Wild thing,
Yeah.
man. Comedy or drama?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. While you're watching that movie, candy or popcorn?
Popcorn.
Wow. Okay. On that burger, man, ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup. I hate mustard. I don't know why. Absolutely hate mustard.
All right. Well, you said your dad was a hooper, so you may be able to answer this really quick. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan. Oh my. Oh, well, LeBron is just a crybaby, but don't get me started. Oh my goodness. I could rant about that.
Oh God, we can have another podcast. Hey, Fred part 2 is just going to be about the Jordan.
Yeah, Fred part 2 is going to be.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Oh.
Half full or half empty?
Half full.
Absolutely. Yeah, you look like that. You for sure. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Yes, sir.
It's like that goes like, I mean, I would say I like flip with seasons. I'm not sure. So
That's right.
I would go split with that.
So it depends. Okay. Books or movies?
Movies.
All right. All right. Last one. Fastball or curveball?
Slider.
I love it.
What? I can't do any of those, so I believe you. I trust you. So that's your favorite pitch, Fred? Is the slider?
Yes. Yeah. It's called for now. They changed it on TV. So once like on the left hand on the top left corner, it doesn't say slider anymore. It says sweeper because the sweeper moves horizontally, sideways. So, but it's a slider still. So yeah,
It's still a slider. So man, so many questions I want to ask about pitching, but you know what? We'll leave it for another podcast. Hopefully you'll come back and join us again for another one, because there's some things that we can go in a little bit deeper thought and conversation. Yep. But the next time we talk to you, man, hopefully you're talking to us about how awesome your season's going and all that good stuff, man.
You won another championship.
We'll bring one home, man.
100%.
Hey, Fred, what song do you want us to put in the soundtrack?
So my walkout last year was "Whom the Bells Tolls" by the Metallica, because I play them almost every day in the weight room.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit hardcore, but I mean, I grew up a drummer, so I love a lot of music, and I like a lot of old rock.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
What's the name of the song by Metallica?
So it's spelled "Whom the Bells Tolls." So
Whom the Bells Tolls. Yeah.
Yes. Whom the Bells
All right, there we go. It's added to the playlist.
That's awesome.
Man.
Cool.
Oh, Fred, thank you for taking us through this journey, man. Your story, and such a blessing, man, for you to be where you're at right now. And I know the kids that you're coaching right now, they're learning so much from you, and hopefully somebody listens to this podcast, they'll get motivated as well.
Yep.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I want to appreciate you guys because, I know there's not a lot of people, spreading knowledge and stuff, and this is like a perfect way to people, to hear people's stories, and it could help a person out in need, stuff like that. So yeah, I appreciate you guys too.
Well, we're definitely a fan of yours, man, and we're going to be rooting you on. So we wish you all the best success and health this season, man, and you're welcome back anytime, my man.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, baby, saddle up.
All right. Take care. Until next week, guys. Fred, you've been awesome, man.
like we weren't supposed to come up with something this clean. Like something happened